Root races represent stages in human evolution according to the esoteric cosmology of Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, founder of Theosophical Society, as outlined in her seminal work, The Secret Doctrine, 1888. Blavatsky's conceptual framework was further elaborated upon by subsequent theosophists such as William Scott Elliott, Annie Besant, Charles Webster Leadbeater, and Rudolf Steiner. Earth is said to host 7 root races in total, each comprising 7 subraces. Each root race is delineated by periods known as epochs, which are related to the yugas of the Hindu tradition, divided into the gold, silver, bronze, and iron ages. Presently, we are in the 5th subrace of the 5th root race. At the midpoint of each root race evolution, it reaches its peak before undergoing a cataclysm that initiates its decline. At the same time, the next root race begins to grow, developing alongside the declining one, creating continuous overlap. This complex pattern of major races and their subdivisions, evolving and mixing together, explains the many different types of humans we see today. For example, the 5th race, the Aryans, is still developing on our planet, coexisting with many from the 4th race, including Tatars, Chinese, and Mongols, and some from the 3rd race, such as Australian Aborigines. At the beginning of a new root race, a great adept, Manu, incarnates, selects the best portion of humanity as the seed of the next root race, and allows the old civilization to be destroyed in cataclysms. The initial root race, known as the Polarians, lived during the time when Earth was still cooling. The first landmass to emerge was the peak of Mount Meru, located at what is now the North Pole, which became the habitat of this race. The Polarians were sexless, ethereal beings devoid of any cognitive activity, possessing only a rudimentary sense of hearing. Subsequently, the second root race inhabited Hyperborea and was known as the Hyperboreans. Their bodies were unlike what is now considered human, bearing only a vague resemblance to the human form. They were more astral than physical, gelatinous and jelly-like in nature, lacking evolved bones, organs, hair, or true skin. Similar to animals in terms of their lower instincts, they were considered innocent. Besides hearing, they developed the sense of touch. The Hyperboreans resided in what is now northern Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Scandinavia, northern Russia, and Kamchatka. Due to the absence of Earth's axial tilt, the climate in Hyperborea was tropical. Their continent was known esoterically as Plaksha, and they referred to themselves as the Kimpershas. The third root race, known as the Lemurians, inhabited the continent of Lemuria, also referred to as Zalmali. Lemuria encompassed a vast area of what is now the Indian Ocean, including Australia, and extending into the South Pacific Ocean. Today, its remnants are found in the Australian continent, the island of New Guinea, and Madagascar. Over time, Lemuria gradually submerged due to volcanic activity. The Lemurian root race began approximately 22 to 23 million years ago, during a period when they coexisted with dinosaurs. Lemurians were notably larger than contemporary humans and would be considered giants. They were also the first physical human beings, exhibiting noticeable organs and skeletal, nervous, muscular, and other systems with specific functions. This was also the time when humans became self-aware for the first time. Initially, the first 3 subraces of Lemurians, who were hermaphrodites, reproduced by laying eggs. Around 18 million years ago, during the middle of the 3rd subrace, the sexes were separated. The 4th subrace adopted modern human-like reproduction methods. Vision also developed during this root race. Initially, it was a single eye in the middle of the forehead, our 3rd eye. Later, our normal eyes developed, and the 3rd eye slowly receded inwards and became the pineal gland. As Lemuria sank, its inhabitants dispersed to surrounding regions such as Africa, southern India, and the East Indies. Descendants of the Lemurian root race include the Capoid, Congoid, Dravidian, and Australoid races. The 4th root race, the Atlanteans, emerged roughly 4.5 million years ago in Africa and are also considered giants. They developed the sense of taste. They originated from the 4th subrace of Lemurians that had colonized a region in Africa, currently inhabited by the Ashanti. Consequently, there was a substantial period spanning millions of years in which the Lemurians and Atlanteans coexisted. Atlantis, known esoterically as Kusha, was a continent that spanned a significant portion of the present-day Atlantic Ocean. It is said to have initially divided and later fragmented into 7 peninsulas and islands. As Atlantis began to sink, Atlantean settlers migrated to newly emerging lands to the east, west, and south, which eventually became the Americas, Africa, parts of Asia, and various European countries. This migration extended from the Ural Mountains of Russia westward to include islands like Ireland and Great Britain. Some emigrants from the remaining Atlantic islands settled in the east, later consolidating into the Abyssinian highlands and adjacent territories. The Atlantean root race exhibited Mongolian features, initially characterized by bronze skin, which gradually diversified into the red American Indian, brown Malayan, and yellow Mongolian races. This evolutionary progression encompassed 7 subraces: Umohal, Tlavadi, known as Cro-Magnons, Toltec, Atlantean predecessors of the American Indians, Turanian, original Semites, such as the Phoenicians, Akkadians, Mongolian, which migrated to and settled in Central Asia, East Asia, and Southeast Asia. Descendants of the Atlanteans include those of Mongolian, Malayan, and American Indian descent, alongside individuals classified in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as belonging to the olive-skinned Mediterranean race. During the prosperous era when the Toltecs, forebears of the Amerindians, governed Atlantis, the civilization reached its zenith, known as the Golden Age of Atlantis, spanning from approximately 1 million to 900,000 years ago. Atlanteans enjoyed abundant luxuries and amenities. Their capital, the city of the Golden Gates, boasted a populace of 2 million and was supplied by extensive aqueducts originating from a mountain lake. Innovation thrived in Atlantis, with Atlanteans pioneering airships capable of accommodating 2 to 8 passengers. Their economic structure mirrored that of the Incas, embracing socialism. They were also credited with the earliest forms of organized warfare, employing air battleships housing 50 to 100 combatants armed with poison gas bombs, while infantry utilized fire-tipped arrows. The Toltecs revered the sun in temples rivaling the grandeur of ancient Egypt, adorned in vibrant hues. Their meditative focus was centered on the sacred word, Tao, akin to the Aryan Aum. The Toltecs colonized North and South America, evolving into the Amerindian peoples. The decline of Atlantis commenced around 850,000 BC when certain Toltecs delved into black magic, influenced by the dragon Thevatat, also known as Devdatta, Buddha's adversary, fostering selfishness and materialism. Subsequently, the Turanians, progenitors of modern Turkic peoples, ascended to dominance, perpetuating black magic practices until Atlantis's final sinking around 9564 BC. In this conflict, white magicians faced off against black magicians. The latter employed magical spells to create human-animal hybrids, forming an army of chimeras. The war persisted until Atlantis's demise, with the white magicians warned telepathically to flee in ships before the cataclysm. Atlantis's destruction, attributed to successive disturbances in Earth's axial rotation triggering earthquakes, resulted in its sudden submersion. Humanity presently resides within the 5th root race, known as the Aryan root race, which emerged approximately 100,000 years ago from the preceding Atlantean root race in Atlantis. A mere 9,000 individuals, constituting the initial Aryan root race, departed Atlantis in 79,797 BC. These migrants split into 2 factions upon leaving. One group ventured southward to the shores of a lush Sahara, where they founded the City of the Sun. Meanwhile, the main body journeyed to an island dubbed the White Island, in the heart of what was then an inland sea, situated within the contemporary Gobi Desert. Here, they established the City of the Bridge, directly beneath the etheric city of Shambhala, believed to be the dwelling place of Earth's governing deity, Sanat Kumara. This arrangement ensured divine guidance in the ongoing evolution of the Aryan root race. The physical genesis of the Aryan root race was overseen by Vivasvata Manu. With the development of the sense of smell, this completes our current 5 senses. The Kabyle ethnic group is considered the closest modern counterpart to this new race. The Aryan races range from dark brown to the whitest creamy color, and comprise the following subraces. The first subrace, the Hindu, migrated from the city of the bridge on the White Island in the Gobi Inland Sea to India around 60,000 BC. The second subrace, the Arabian, migrated from the city of the bridge to Arabia around 40,000 BC. The third subrace, the Persian, migrated from the city of the bridge to Persia around 30,000 BC. The fourth subrace, the Celts, began migrating from the city of the bridge to Western Europe around 20,000 BC, with the Mycenaean Greeks considered an offshoot of this subrace, colonizing Southeast Europe. The fifth subrace, the Teutonic, also migrated from the city of the bridge to what is now Germany around 20,000 BC, with the Slavs seen as an offshoot of this subrace, settling in Russia and surrounding regions. The emergence of the sixth subrace of the Aryan root race is expected to begin in the United States in the early 21st century. This subrace, called the Australo-American subrace, will evolve from the Teutonic subrace primarily in Australia and the western United States, with a significant number of individuals expected to be born in California. The sixth subrace is predicted to develop certain psychic abilities, facilitated by the growth of the pituitary gland. It is envisioned that this subrace will blend the intelligence of the fifth subrace with the emotional depth of the fourth, leading to greater wisdom and intuition. In the 28th century, the Theosophical Society plans to establish a colony in Baja California for the purpose of intensive selective eugenic breeding of the sixth root race. Master Moria, an ascended master, is expected to physically incarnate as the Manu, or progenitor, of this new root race. By this time, nuclear power is predicted to be the primary energy source, and a unified world government, led by an individual believed to be the reincarnation of Julius Caesar, will be in place. Looking ahead tens of thousands of years, a new continent is forecasted to emerge in the Pacific Ocean, serving as the future homeland of the sixth root race. California, west of the San Andreas Fault, is envisioned to detach from the North American mainland, forming the island of California off the eastern coast of the new continent. During the sixth root race, humanity will not be gigantic in size, as spirituality will be on the rise and materiality decreasing. The characteristics of sex will gradually disappear, and humanity will slowly become androgynous once again. Toward the end of the sixth root race, mankind will begin to exhibit the first signs of reproduction through the power of will and imagination. Additionally, there will be a steadily increasing tendency to evolve from fleshly into more ethereal physical vehicles. With the advent of each root race, a new physical sense apparatus appears, thus, humanity in the sixth root race will develop a sixth sense, our psychic senses. Indeed, compared to our current fifth root race, the sixth will be far more advanced in every way, spiritually, intellectually, psychically, and even physically. The emergence of the seventh root race is projected to occur from the seventh subrace of the sixth root race, dwelling on the forthcoming continent that will arise from the Pacific Ocean, known esoterically as Pakshara, whose center is at a point where South America is currently located. Being the final race to appear on Earth, humanity is expected to undergo significant spiritual development, characterized by the complete elimination of cruel and destructive tendencies, aided by the emergence of highly evolved adepts, including the Bodhisattva Maitreya. After completing its cycle of 7 root races on one planet, each life wave transfers its life energies to the next planet, initiating the same sequence of 7 root races on that subsequent globe. Consequently, each planet within a solar system experiences its own set of 7 root races, collectively forming one globe round. The culmination of 7 globe rounds constitutes one complete planetary round, equivalent to the completion of the cycle for the entire solar system. Upon the completion of the current round of human spiritual evolution, which spans several dozen million years, it is believed that the human race will migrate to the planet Mercury to continue both its spiritual and physical evolution. Before the current round of spiritual evolution on Earth, humanity inhabited Mars, migrating to Earth after the conclusion of the previous round.